Hey everybody, welcome to Cheap Pops. I'm Dave.
I'm Nick.
And if you've never seen this before, this show talks about wrestling, movies, video games, pretty much anything pop culture. The first thing I want to mention is rest in peace Pete Rose. I know there's been a lot of other deaths lately, like John Amos, but Pete Rose is iconic, and the appearances that he made at in WWF or WrestleManias were amazing, and it's unfortunate that he's not in the Baseball Hall of Fame, before he died, which they'll probably do it, now that he's dead, which is just stupid.
Right.
But, it sucks when it sucks when anybody dies, but, an iconic person like Pete Rose dying really, really sucks. So what's been going on with the video games that you've been playing lately?
Well, the new DLC for the wrestling game has dropped with your favorite Nia Jax being in it. Jade Cargill.
That's cool.
Io Sky.
Yep.
And Carlito.
That's cool.
And a new weapon that they added to the game, an apple. You could use an apple for a weapon.
That's as dumb as the football.
I like the football because
I know you like the football, but
we're having fun with the football. We're having fun with that when throwing it around.
You were having fun throwing the football around.
I mean, like I was with the guitar.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, did you see that they're bringing back Saturday night's main event?
Yes.
I think that's awesome. It's going to be December 14th. Is going to be the first episode. My thing is, they just announced or they just showed Jesse Ventura mending fences with WWE.
Ooh.
And they're bringing back Saturday night's main event. Coincidence? I don't think so. I mean, you're not going to have Vince with Jesse, doing commentary, but you can put one guy that's really good with Jesse and let Jesse go.
Right.
Put Joe Tessitore with Jesse. I think it'll go really good. Don't put Booker T with him. That'll just be horrible. But if Jesse Ventura is commentating on the first episode of this new Saturday night's main event,
yes.
Classic. And the promo videos, Andre, all the old clips and stuff. So that's going to be really cool. I think. I like that they're going back to some of the classic stuff, like the NXT pay-per-views have names, of old WWF, or WWE pay-per-views, and now Bad Blood is making its return. We're going to do a preview of that at the end of the episode. And my thing, though, is let's get back some of the retro belts.
Yeah.
Because all of these belts that just have a big WWE logo.
The new Intercontinental title belt with the blue splashed into it kind of looks...
The blue does make it look better.
Yeah,
I will admit. The blue makes it look better. But to me, it's just... Some of the new tag team titles on SmackDown I really like.
Yeah.
Because they look like they were from the Golden Era or the Attitude Era. Those ones I do like. They're not generic cookie cutter, toy belts. And like they just released new NXT belts because they just announced new NXT belts on Tuesday. So, I mean, they're still NXT belts. They've got the new NXT logo, but they're pretty much the same, but they just changed them a little bit. But
yeah.
To make more money, which is fine, but some of the old belts I think are better. But
I still like the Attitude Era Intercontinental title belt.
Oh yeah, that one's good. I mean, I like the classic one, but that one it was really weird. That was at a time where they were changing, and they brought that out, and then they brought out the Big Eagle, and then the European title. I always liked the look of the European title.
Yes.
The Hardcore title, which my thing is, I will never own that as a replica belt because you can't make a replica belt look like that one did. It can't be authentic to me, and I wouldn't spend the money to buy a hardcore belt. But
$1 million belt? Yeah. Yes. Yes.
Yeah, I mean, that's iconic. The $1 million belt, But
absolutely.
So I like that they're adding new belts, and I think they don't need more belts, but I think another secondary title on the shows would be good because a lot of these mid-card storylines have nothing to go with them. And I'm not saying every storyline needs a belt, but like if you're going to do Chad Gable against somebody, and you just keep doing a feud, or Andrade or whatever. It just, I don't understand why, sometimes you need a belt for something like that. Like this whole storyline with Gunther and Sami Zayn needs the belt, but I don't know. Sometimes I think they have too many, and sometimes I think they need more, which is weird. Because, NXT has the men's North American title and the women's North American title. Call it something other than the North American title. Because that just is confusing, because now you have to say, you're still saying just North American title for the men, and then you're saying the women's North American title. That's just stupid to me. Just call it a different belt, and then you don't have to make that distinction.
Right.
But what do I know? I'm just a fan, so... Did you see that it's started already. Ilya Dragunov is out 6 to 9 months. He tore his ACL.
Oh.
And that sucks because it looked like they were just going to start doing something with him. They were doing like backstage vignettes with him in the Judgment Day, trying to intimidate him. So that sucks. I'm sure he'll be fine because Triple H, he's one of Triple H's guys from NXT, yes. So I'm sure he'll be fine. But 6 to 9 months, and an ACL, that's something you really don't want to come back too early from.
Right.
Which is, I think that's what Mark Merrow had, and he trained too hard, and he ended up being out longer than he was supposed to be because he trained it too hard. You know what I mean? So, but did you see any of the footage from the Vince McMahon documentary?
No.
There is footage of Stone Cold Steve Austin saying, "I'm not a CTE guy." Meaning he doesn't believe that CTE is a thing with wrestlers. How can you look at any of the statistics, or when they did the scan of Chris Benoit's brain, and he had like the brain of a 70-year-old Alzheimer's patient? How can you, with all the research that's been done about CTE, how can you deny it? I don't know if Austin was just trying to be controversial or just, I don't know, but that's the first time I've ever really heard Austin say something that I was like, huh? Booker T says stuff that I don't agree with all the time. Kevin Nash says stuff I don't agree with all the time.
But Stone Cold?
Yeah, I've never heard a bad take from Stone Cold, but to me that's one. Speaking of the Vince McMahon documentary, we are going to be reviewing that on the next episode if this guy ends up getting Netflix. I'll review it whether he gets it or not. So,
Speaking of Vince McMahon, should we talk about what's behind the hard cam?
You go ahead.
We have King of the Ring 98 playing. Mankind has already been thrown off the top of the cell. Vince McMahon, Terry Funk, and others are at ringside trying to bring Mick to the back. But if you ever watched it, he goes back up, people.
Yep. And one of the others that was around the ring, Francois Petit, the doctor, he is actually just a chiropractor, but he played Sub-Zero in the Mortal Kombat movie.
Ooh.
Little nugget there that, I like that. I've been reading reports that when AEW announces their Warner Brothers Discovery deal, that the AEW pay-per-views are going to be streaming on Max. Which, that's fine, but to me, their pay-per-views are already 4 hours long. Tony Khan cannot control himself. What are they going to be, 6 hours long?
Oh my God.
He's going to be handing out matches like Oprah Winfrey handing out prizes on her show. You get a match, and you get a match, and you get a trios match, and you get a gauntlet match.
You get a title match.
Yeah, exactly. We have 40 belts, so you'll get a title match. I think it'll be good for them to be on a streaming service because they have a lot of content. I think if they do that, they'll phase out the Honor Club and they'll put all the Ring of Honor footage on Max, which I think that would be cool because I already have Max and I could get rid of the Honor Club. Not that the Honor Club's bad. I like the way it's set up, but they've got to do something with their content. They do DVDs of their pay-per-views, but you had to have bought the $50 or $60 pay-per-view. And if you want to watch it again, you got to sign into Bleacher Report or whatever and watch it again. If they're streaming on Max, it's going to be so much easier for fans to be able to access the content. And you could have it where you have to pay a little bit of a premium to see those pay-per-views on Max, but it still won't be the total cost of what a regular one would be. So I think it's a good move, but at least somewhere to house all their content, so.
And there was something that wasn't supposed to happen. Mick Foley going through the top of the cell.
No, he was supposed to gradually. He was supposed to choke. Undertaker was supposed to choke slam him 2 or 3 times, and then it was finally supposed to give way. I mean, you could hear the twist, the ties.
Ping,
yeah, you could hear him. Yeah.
And this is him yelling down, "Is he alive?"
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, we have stuff behind the hard camera just so we have something. We're not just looking at this camera.
Yes.
Looking into nothingness, and so. So did you watch All Out? AEW's All Out.
A little bit.
A little bit. Okay. The first match, MJF against Daniel Garcia. I loved when MJF made his entrance and he did his kneel in the ring with his arms out. There was a big flag that said "Thank me later" hanging from the rafters, and when they cut it off to fall down, it fell down on the front row. I thought that was pretty funny. I hope it wasn't a heavy flag, because not that the AEW fans are going to sue, but you never know. You know what I mean? Somebody could claim that they got hurt by it and could sue. But whatever. Garcia attacked MJF before the bell rang. I think it was a great grudge match to open the show, and MJF did a low blow and a jackknife cover to get the win. But then Garcia, I think did something afterwards. So, that's right. MJF went for a handshake and Garcia hit him with a low blow, and did an avalanche pile driver on MJF. And neither of them have been on TV since. I just think that's funny that Daniel Garcia wins the match and now he's not on TV. But whatever. Wheeler Yuta and Claudio Castagnoli against the Young Bucks for the tag titles. Claudio did the running uppercuts in the corner for 45 seconds to a minute. Just kept going and going. To me, that takes me out of it. The Eddie Kingston, fast chops in the corner. When Mick Foley did the rapid fire punches in the corner, he did it for 5 seconds and then he backed away and did the bang bang, or raised his arm up when he was Mankind. Sometimes I think these guys go overboard to try to make their stuff look good, and it just looking phony to me. Claudio just running and doing the uppercuts. Even if you get stunned by that uppercut, he's running, 10 feet across the ring and then doing it again. I don't care how, weary you are from getting hit with one, you're going to be able to move at some point. I know it's wrestling. I know it's scripted. I know, but some things, when I was a kid and I was watching, Greg the Hammer Valentine and Ronnie Garvin wrestle, and they're chopping the crap out of each other and they're making their stuff look good, they weren't doing weird stuff and repetitive stuff. Or, Hulk Hogan wasn't the greatest wrestler, but his matches made sense to me. I'm not saying I don't like Claudio. I love his matches. His stuff in Ring of Honor was awesome. But a lot of the stuff in WWE was really good. But certain things take me out of it, and stuff like that does. I'm going to sound too much like Jim Cornette, but Rick Knox is a horrible referee. He's just... And you know what, to be honest, most of the AEW referees, to me, they just... I don't want everybody to be like Earl Hebner, but Earl Hebner had credibility as a referee. When referees go too far, he would bow up to him and, point to the logo on his shirt. I'm the referee, I'm the authority. And a lot of them would back down, or they would stop cheating, or, or doing stupid stuff. To me, it just... If the referee doesn't have any credibility, then why are they there? I don't want, the referee to become the star of the match like Aubrey Edwards was for a while. Luckily, she's not doing that stuff anymore. But the referee has to have some credibility. Like if the Young Bucks and Claudio and Yuta are just doing a bunch of stuff in the ring all at once, and the referee's not even counting, that like the Orton match where he was just dropping guys on the table over and over. Did it on Raw, just dropping guys on the table, or on SmackDown, right in front of the referee, and all the referee's doing is counting, not threatening disqualification, nothing. You know, that to me, it takes. Why are you trusting the referee's decision at that point if there's no credibility the rest of the match? Speaking
of referees with credibility, take a look back at Judgment Day 2002, where Timmy White is telling both Triple H and Chris Jericho in a Hell in a Cell match, I mind you, to get back into the ring.
Yeah, I get that. Yeah, I don't know.
And speaking of Timmy White, he's refereeing this match.
Yep. I thought it was an okay match. I mean, it's Young Bucks. You know, Bucks stuff is so tired. The Young Bucks retain the titles. I don't think anybody expected Claudio Castagnoli and Wheeler Yuta to win the titles. The international title, I thought this match was really good. Pac against Will Ospreay. It was pretty much high-flying. Can you top this? They did an Avalanche Brainbuster, which looked gnarly. Will Ospreay doing a Poison Rana and then hitting the Hidden Blade was pretty sick. And Pat kicked out. Will Ospreay did a Styles Clash into a shitty Hidden Blade. That Hidden Blade can look good if he, comes close to hitting it with his elbow, but sometimes it looks he whiffs it and it looks really bad. Ospreay won. I thought it was an amazing match. Having Will Ospreay have that title is starting to give that title credibility. Having Orange Cassidy have it, and having Pac have it at one point was fine, but Will Ospreay is the guy right now. Actually, tonight, Will Ospreay is going to be as we're recording. Will Ospreay is going to be wrestling Ricochet, and if you know anything about the matches those guys had in Japan, it's going to be amazing.
Yes.
And Bryan Danielson is wrestling Okada tonight. They're going all. It's the 5-year anniversary of AEW Dynamite, so they're going all out on it. This is the match. I asked you to watch this match. I don't know if you watched it. The Chicago Street Fight, Willow Nightingale against Chris Statlander. Did you watch that one?
That's where I kind of left off.
Okay, well, Statlander did a powerbomb on Willow through the Spanish announce table.
Not the Spanish announce table!
And then another table was set up on ringside, and Statlander put Willow on the table. Statlander goes up to the top rope and does a senton, a flipping senton, kind of like a swanton, but not, the Jeff Hardy version. And Willow went to get off the table and didn't get off quick enough, and Statlander's legs just came right down over her head and her shoulders. Oh. That could have been really bad.
Yeah.
She took Statlander's legs right to the back of her head. Willow did a pounce through the barricade, which looked cool. But to me, the spears and all that stuff through the barricade is getting very, very old. And they did it again on Raw with Braun Strowman against Bronson Reed in the last Monster Standing match. And they had people planted on the outside to make it look like they actually hit fans with the barricade. So they're going all out with that stuff. And by the way, that last Monster Standing match, they did a superplex, Braun Strowman superplex Bronson Reed into the middle of the ring, and they did the ring collapsing thing. It didn't collapse. All that happened was 2 of the posts fell out and the ropes fell down. They didn't even have it on hydraulics where part of the ring it was just, the ring was regular, it just 2 of the posts went out and the ropes went. So they're trying on some things, and then on other things they're not trying at all. So,
but it still looked freaking cool.
Yeah.
And Seth Rollins coming back.
Yeah, Seth Rollins returning was really, really awesome. But back to the Chicago Street Fight. They brought out light tubes. This guy, he likes the death matches, the light tubes, so Statlander did a spear off the stage through onto Willow through tables. And then when they got back to the ring, they brought out thumbtacks. And did you see that part? Yeah, actually with the Hell in a Cell that's on right now, they're using the thumbtacks. But Willow kicked Statlander's legs out from underneath her, and she did a split into the thumbtacks.
Ow.
Yeah, so that's some place you probably don't want thumbtacks, but it happens. So Statlander made Willow tap out by choking Willow with a chain, and she had the chain in her mouth too. I thought that was a really good match. The Continental title, Mark Briscoe against Takeshita versus Okada versus Orange Cassidy. At one point, there was a stare down between Okada and Takeshita, which I thought was really cool. I think a feud between those two would actually be good. It's a four-way match in AEW. No shade on AEW, but
the multi-man match is kind of getting...
And Okada retained the title. This next match, if you want to talk about a stinker, Mercedes Moné against Hikaru Shida for the TBS Championship. This looked so awkward. This looked like the worst indie match you've ever seen in your life. And it was way too long. I don't know if Mercedes her ego has gotten so big that she forgot how to wrestle, because she was really good in NXT, and I just don't know what I don't know what this is. This is just...
Has she been hanging around with Chris Jericho too much?
Right, and watching interviews that she does, she has the Jericho curse. She believes that her stuff is amazing.
Oh.
But, I was thinking something. Before, I go any further, that match sucked, by the way, and Mercedes retained the title. The flag that's behind us, an Assassin's Creed flag, we're not going to talk about All In, but at All In, Will Ospreay did an Assassin's Creed-inspired entrance, and he has an Assassin's Creed logo tattooed on his arm, which is cool. So,
right there.
So we put up the Assassin's Creed flag. Just wanted to throw that out there.
Yes.
The next match for the AEW World Title, Bryan Danielson against Jack Perry. Every time JR is on commentary during a Danielson match, he mentions that he signed him 20 years ago. Well, yeah, but he didn't do anything. You signed him, and then he went to Ring of Honor. He went to the Indies, and he went to Ring of Honor. He didn't do anything. Maybe he did a dark match or a velocity match here and there.
He did a velocity match against John Cena.
Yeah, exactly. So what? He didn't do anything in WWE until 2010, when he was part of the original NXT concept, which was a reality show. And then he got fired for choking Justin Roberts with his tie. But it just... We're going to meet JR in November. I've already met him. JR, kind of like Chris Jericho, it's time to go. You're the greatest announcer of all time, in my opinion, but that time has passed you by. You live in Jacksonville, you've got a house on the beach. Go do that. Do your podcast, The backstage interviews, the sit-down interviews that you were doing, they're interesting, but commentary, and plus, they put you on commentary, and then there's 3 or 4 other guys at the commentary table. Why do we need 5 guys in the commentary? Poor Taz is trying to actually call the match. Excalibur doesn't even really call the match anymore. Taz is really the only one that's actually trying to do the job. Right. Well, Nigel does too, but Nigel is kind of just the heel announcer now. So he's doing the Jesse Ventura, or when Corey Graves was the heel announcer, but I don't know, man. JR just, I wrote down, do we really need 4 people on commentary for this?
No, we do not.
It was a good match. I'm not surprised the Young Bucks interfered. Jack Perry's not a good performer. I don't know why you thought that this whole scapegoat thing, bringing him back after the CM Punk stuff, was going to make him a badass. But he looks... When Marco Stunt looks just a little bit smaller than you do, he's tried... Jack Perry looks like he's tried to put on size, but he just doesn't look, I don't know, man. It doesn't work for me in this, coming in this, this blacked out bus, the short bus. I'm not even going to make a short bus joke, which I could. I used to drive the short bus, to be honest. But do they bring that bus to every event? Because it's not like you, well, I don't know, maybe you can. You got enough money, you could, in every city, you could buy a short bus and paint it black and paint Scapegoat on it and have him drive it in. But my thinking is they've got a ring truck where they bring that bus everywhere just for him to drive it in for 10 seconds. They weren't trucking around the Stone Cold truck every week.
No.
Danielson won with the knee, the running knee. Killswitch came out. Christian came out with his fake, kind of Money in the Bank style contract. And then Moxley came out and stared him down. And the rest of the BCC came out too. So the members of the Patriarchy and Christian Cage retreated. But then Claudio hit an uppercut on Danielson. And Moxley put a plastic bag over his head and tried to suffocate him. And the best thing was there was a chant that said, "This is murder." Which, yeah. And then JR, I'm going to go back to JR. He's acting all indignant, all, horrified that this is happening in pro wrestling. JR, you were in WCW when Terry Funk did that to Ric Flair. You've seen it before. But whatever. But the main event, a lights out steel cage match, Swerve Strickland against Hangman Page. Awesome video package, one of the best I've seen all year. Staple guns, they're stapling pictures to each other. Cinder blocks, powerbombed on the cinder. Swerve was powerbombed on the cinder block. I don't know how it didn't break his back. Hypodermic needle through Swerve Strickland's cheek. Hangman.
Oh, like we haven't seen that before in one of our the Ventures of Death matches?
Yeah. So, Hangman won by knockout after hitting Swerve in the head with a steel chair. I mean, it was a gimmick chair. It broke apart as soon as Hangman... I mean, the seat just flopped right off it. But, let's see. I don't know. I got notes everywhere, but I mean, it was a good pay-per-view. AEW, I think, delivers on their pay-per-views, but I don't know.
Oh, you ready for your rant?
Not yet. I want to show this. I have to thank this guy right here for, actually the guy I'm talking about is on the screen right now. This Kane jersey, an official WWE Kane jersey. I really like this, the 97 outfit. That's really cool. I thank you for that. And that's fine right there. One thing that I bought, I have a Scotty 2 Hottie visor, an official WWF one that he autographed that I bought from him at a show. And I have a official pair of the Grandmaster Sexay goggles. And I want to put them on a styrofoam head and display them. And I thought, well, I want to get all three of Too Cool. So I was on eBay, and I've been looking for a long time to not just buy a yellow pair of Oakleys. I know he wore the Oakleys, but the visor is a WWF merchandise one. The goggles are a WWF merchandise one. I wanted the WWF Rikishi sunglasses. And this guy was selling a lot of them, still in the package. WWF logo on them, Rikishi and Too Cool on
yes.
1999 Titan Sports on the tag. That one's for you.
Oh boy.
I've got another one. And there's a third one. So, at some point, we're going to come up with a contest and somebody's going to be able to win a pair of these. I don't know what it's going to be just yet, but... And these will be, wrapped in bubble wrap and they'll be shipped and they'll be perfect when they get to you, but I don't need three. I only need one. He's got one. So we'll be doing
and I do not want to take this out of the package because
exactly.
This is fucking sweet.
So do you want me to go on my rant now?
Yes, you can do whatever you want now.
Okay. So
hey, wait. 3, 2.
So I talked about this a little bit on our last episode where we were talking about the Wrestling Classic that we're going to and stores and, and shows that weren't run very well. Well, we also talked about Experience Con, where we had applied for a table to do a merch table. And not really just do merch, but to get the name on about our show. And it was the concept was actually pretty cool. Free vendor tables, and then they were going to bring in stars, and you would have to pay, an entry fee like all conventions to get in. So I filled out the application, and a month or two goes by. I send a message and say, what's there going to be any information about these? Because I've got to request time off. He's got to request time off, especially since they announced it was going to be a whole weekend. That didn't happen either. So, and then at one point, I think I commented on a post, and they did a live, this place called Heroes Hideout, the store. And on the live video, I said anything about Experience Con. And he said, well, Heroes Hideout's not Experience Con. They literally changed their logo for the store. It's not Heroes Hideout anymore. It's Experience. That's the logo that the Experience Con was. They just changed the colors and took off the con part. So how is your store not that? I've said this before. I hate being lied to. So they put an update on their website. The biggest update, Experience Con will now take place at the MVP Arena Concourse area, focusing on exciting meet and greet opportunities like the recently announced Kane Hodder meet and greet. Unfortunately, we will no longer be hosting vendors. Then how the hell is it a con? If you're just doing meet and greets, you're still having vendors, because those people are bringing in those people for meet and greets. That's a vendor. They may not be selling things, but that, and it said, and we sincerely apologize to those who submitted applications. We appreciate your understanding and to reach out with any questions. And somebody commented, vendors didn't just submit applications. Y'all emailed us back saying we were accepted. Didn't do that to me, even though I messaged them and emailed them and asked them on a live video, and they still didn't give me any answer. Saying we were accepted, and you couldn't even professionally send out an email to those vendors letting us know you were no longer hosting us. We had to find out through a Facebook post. And here's their response. We apologize for the inconvenience. During the switchover, we lost the original email for the show and the Google Drive. That's the reason why we weren't able to send out emails. With the changes that were made, we didn't feel that we were going to be able to pull off the show without the right people involved. This process of merging Heroes Hideout into XP has been a big undertaking. You couldn't save a file of a list of emails for a fucking con that you were going to put on, that you've been saying you were going to put on, that you announced the Hardy Boys and Lex Luger for. You couldn't send out emails to people, or you couldn't do a live video with a description saying our con is not happening. You put it in a random fucking Facebook post. You are a shitty company. I never want to go to any of your signings ever again. I don't give a fuck where they are. Your store has moved multiple times because you're a shitty company. I never want to fucking talk about you again because you're fucking assholes. The guy that ran Omega Sports in Glens Falls is just as shady. You're just as shady as that motherfucker who just took everything out of his store and left in the middle of the night. I won't be surprised if you guys just shut everything down in the middle of the night and never answer anybody ever again. Fuck you and your company. I'm happy that I got to meet a lot of the wrestlers that I met through your company, but fuck you and fuck your company. Because you've been shady and you've been fucking people over, and that's one of the shadiest motherfucking things I've ever seen. Where you announce that you're going to do a con and you're going to do free tables, and then when people are actually trying to find out what's happening, you don't fucking answer them, and then you randomly just put a post on Facebook as if that's going to be an answer for people. That's fucked up, and that's ridiculous, and if that's the way you run your business, I don't know how anybody deals with you ever. And I know that they bring people into other cons and stuff like that. I know other companies that bring people into cons, and they're good people. They run good businesses. You guys are a shit business, and I never want to go to anything that you run ever again.
The best one that we went to, the Zombie Hideout.
Yeah, Zombie Hideout is amazing. If you can get to Massachusetts for something that Zombie Hideout runs, please do it because they know how to run it right.
Yes.
If you pre-order, you're in one line and you go first. If you buy day of, you're in another line and you go after all the pre-orders go. That's how it should be run everywhere. That's how I feel, and I just and I didn't plan on getting this fired up, but the whole time it just. I'll never understand how people can be that shady and be close to even come close to staying in business. It just it crawls up my ass sideways. And the whole experience at World of Hurt is nothing compared to that shit. That's just being a shady son of a bitch.
You want to talk about the one that you were talking about in Glens Falls?
Oh, Omega Sports?
Yes, because you were going to go see Rikishi.
Yes, I was going to go see Rikishi. This guy, he was shady. You could tell that this guy was shady just by talking to him. Because he has, like, baseballs signed by wrestlers. And I've seen enough wrestling autographs and I can tell when one's fake. And he had Macho Man on baseballs. And he had, like, 30 of them. There's no way that Macho Man is signing 30 baseballs for this fucking guy. And granted, Macho Man played, like AA baseball. But he's not signing a bunch of baseballs for this guy. Just, And he would... His autograph signings were, when it first started, he didn't tell you who the signing was. It was a mystery. So you'd show up for his signing. It could be a baseball player. It could be a Playboy Playmate. It could be a wrestler. Half the time it was a baseball player that I didn't know, or, the Playboy Playmates was fun. Who doesn't want to, get their picture? It was free to get your picture taken with them, so that's cool. But what his deal was he'd have 8x10s. So you didn't have to pay for the meet and greet, but you had to buy something to get autographed because he didn't tell you who the fuck was going to be there. And then he started doing signings where he told you who was going to be there. But what he didn't tell you was he would gauge the interest of somebody when they would walk in and inquire about it, and he would charge people different prices for the same meet and greet. And then he would say, oh, well, I was at Vince McMahon's birthday party and I might get him in here. I'm not stupid. I've seen enough carnies in my day to know that this guy was full of shit, but I met the Nasty Boys at his store. I met Matt Morgan at his store. I met Sid at his store. Rest in peace, Sid. I met Christy Hemme at his store. The Nasty Boys. A lot of people. Madison Rain. And then he had this flyer out where he's having Edge, and then Rikishi, and then he's having the Ultimate Warrior. And right then, when he said Ultimate Warrior, I said, there's no way that this guy is paying to bring the Ultimate Warrior into a mall in Glens Falls. He doesn't have enough money to bring the Ultimate Warrior in. So he says Rikishi's coming. So I'm like, okay, great. I've got the day off. I'll go meet Rikishi. Walk into the mall, like an hour before because you want to get, in line. And there's like a cell phone kiosk, right across, in the middle of the mall, right across from... I look, and the gate is down, and there's no notice, there's no nothing, and the store is empty. This store had comic books hanging on the walls, and shelves of loose trading cards, and just stuff everywhere, tables of stuff everywhere. You had to go through a maze of tables just to get to where he was doing the signing. Empty, completely empty. And I said to the girl at the kiosk, I was like, what happened? Oh, I was here last night closing up. He just took everything out of the store and just locked it and walked away. When there was an autograph signing scheduled, come to find out that this guy was selling merchandise that he didn't own. And he ended up, when he went back to, I guess he was from Buffalo or Niagara Falls, he ended up going to jail for selling stolen merchandise. And then I went to the mall office, and I said, what? Because I didn't know any money, because I was going to pay that day to meet Rikishi. And the woman at the office said, oh, I don't know his name, we don't have an address for him, and all this stuff. You rented a store out to somebody and you don't have any, how do you know he was paying the sales tax if you don't know his name or his address? Like, that's kind of weird to me. But, so, I've dealt with shady customers, and Hero's Hideout was kind of shadier than that guy, and he picked up his store and just left, so.
But like you said, I wouldn't be a bit surprised if they do that.
Well, they're going to a warehouse and they're doing online only now, and they say they're going to do the signings at their warehouse.
Yeah.
How long is that going to last?
Right.
So, fuck Hero's Hideout, fuck experience. I've had a shitty experience. How about that? So, let's go into get your sign. Get your sign. The next pick for this episode, the pilot episode of SmackDown. April 29th, 1999.
All I have to say is, it's me, Austin!
Yeah, that wasn't on this episode, but it was around that time. This was right after Undertaker had tried to marry Stephanie McMahon and had her up on his symbol, and Stone Cold stopped it. Michael Cole and Jim Cornette were the broadcasting team. I think that's cool because you had JR and King for so long, and then it ended up being JR and King on SmackDown afterwards anyways. But I've always liked Cornette on commentary. He knows what he's doing. He's a good talker. So Michael Cole was just kind of getting his sea legs at that point. So, and then Vince and Stephanie came out, and Steph wasn't good at the mic at this time. She was only like 22 years old, you know what I mean? Or 23. So, whatever. Vince was always good, on the mic, and always good as a character. Well, not good on the mic when he was doing commentary, but as a character.
What a maneuver!
Yeah, the trademark on the word maneuver. And then the corporation interrupted. Shane McMahon in this era was trying way too hard. He was overacting so bad at this point. And you think Vince was bad on commentary. Watch a lot of the Sunday night heats where Shane McMahon was on commentary.
Yes.
You want to talk about channel changer. Holy crap.
It's still better than Booker T, though.
Yep. I wrote, and then The Undertaker was announced as being a tag team partner of Triple H against The Rock and Stone Cold. I love Ministry era Undertaker.
Yes.
My favorite entrance music is right before he was Ministry Undertaker, when he was having his feud with Kane and they first started doing the guitars in his entrance. But the Ministry theme is really good. I even like the corporate Ministry theme. I think that's got a cool, thing to it. But this era of Undertaker, the demonic Undertaker, is the way he always should have been. I mean, well, that mystique was always good, but he needed to be demonic. The demonic thing was always good.
Yes.
So Triple H and Undertaker against Austin and Rock is the main event. And then Val Venus against Jeff Jarrett. We were talking about this earlier.
Yeah, your favorite, Val Venus.
Val Venus just does not age well, and it's like a one-note joke. And I think a lot of people go look at the Attitude Era through rose-colored glasses, and they act like everything in the Attitude Era was good. Everything in the Attitude Era was not good. Case in point, Nicole Bass. Not everything in the Attitude Era was good. That's not the only example, but okay, Mae Young giving birth to a hand. It was funny, but looking back on it, I don't know.
It was a hand!
Yeah. But the Blue Blazer came out and attacked Val Venus, and so it became the Blue Blazer against Val Venus. It's a shame what happened to Owen. This was only less than a month from, Owen dying, which sucks. But the Blue Blazer won with a blow. Jarrett hit Val Venus with a low blow. The Godfather came out, but he didn't fare too well because Jarrett and Blue Blazer, doubled up on him. And then after, they did a funny Blue Blazer interview where he's acting like he's not Owen Hart. And then he says you need to say your prayers, eat your vitamins, and drink your milk, which is just, because Hogan's Hollywood Hogan at this point, so it just, such good stuff. But the Blue Blazer thing led to Owen Hart, dying because he repelled from the ceiling, and that sucks. Big Show versus Test was the next match.
Yeah.
Big Show was so athletic at this point, he did a drop kick on the test, and then he choke slammed and tested, and then he won. It was like I don't even think it was a 3-minute match. And then the Boss Man attack test. And then The Rock, they did another segment. The Rock comes out back when he was good and entertaining, unlike now, in my opinion.
Where he's all roided out.
Yeah, and then Austin came out, and the pop for Austin is just...
Yes.
It's just the amount of love that the people had for Austin. And then, of course, Shane comes out again, and he announces the corporate ministry, which is just awesome. I know that gets a lot of hate, but I thought the corporate ministry was good. So what did you think about this episode of SmackDown so far?
It was starting to get its legs.
Yep.
And I think this is what led it to the actual SmackDown.
Yeah. I mean, it was a test run, basically.
Yes.
So, this match I forgot about. D'Lo Brown with Ivory against Droz with Prince Albert. My first thought was, the Attitude Era, they had so much young talent, it was crazy. I mean, yeah, the developmental system is bringing in young talent now, but, I mean, you had Droz, you had Prince Albert, Crash Holly. You could test Big Show. Big Show was in his mid-20s. Edge, Christian, Gangrel. Well, Gangrel was probably close to almost 40 at that point, but still, the Hardy Boys. Bradshaw and Farouk were still, pretty young. You could go down the list of guys.
Yes.
The Mark Henry, X-Pac, Kane, the New Age Outlaws.
So much fucking talent.
Yeah, the Mean Street Posse. Well, but it was a good match. Droz got DQ'd, and Mark Henry came out to help D'Lo. And another thing that I wrote is Jim Johnston's music makes everybody seem important. Their music is so identifiable. When you hear the record scratch thing in front of, D'Lo Brown's music and it says, you better recognize, or, it just... And the first few bars of, Mark Henry's music, the Sexual Chocolate music, or the first notes of the Godfather's music,
yes.
Brood. Like, how can you listen to the Brood's theme and not think that's one of the greatest entrance themes ever made? The Ultimate Warrior's music, Hulk Hogan's music. Just, Jim Johnston is the GOAT of entrance music, in my opinion. Now, some of the CFO music, like Shinsuke Nakamura or Bobby Roode, some of the guy that did the stuff in TNA, like Beer Money and, Kurt Angle's. But Jim Johnston will always be the GOAT, in my opinion. X-Pac and Kane against the New Age Outlaws for the tag titles. The tag division was really catching fire in this era. Kane and X-Pac retained. And then Michael Hayes interviewed the Brood in the ring. Well, he was still calling himself Doc Hendricks at this point. But maybe it was a little bit cringe. Gangrel, good as a vampire, good standing there in the background with them fangs. Not so good on the mic. And Edge wasn't good on the mic at this point either. And Christian didn't say a fucking thing, which probably was good at that point. But I think the developmental program that they have now, if you had Dusty Rhodes, like a lot of the NXT people had Dusty Rhodes helping them with promos, if you had Dusty Rhodes helping these guys with promos in the Attitude Era, the Hardy Boys and Edge and Christian, and their promos would have been a lot better.
Most definitely.
So, and the Brood attacked Doc Hendricks and gave him a bloodbath. Bradshaw against Ken Shamrock in a street fight. Shamrock choked out Bradshaw with a baseball bat, and they used the baseball bat in the match. And Shamrock even attacked Sergeant Slaughter after the match with the baseball bat, which I thought was kind of funny. I met Sarge. Sarge is a great guy, but it was funny. Do you know what the next match was?
Barely, because I watched it like a couple weeks ago.
Big Boss Man against Mankind.
Woohoo!
And you could see the concept. I mean, the corporate ministry has just been formed. Vince has walked out and left Shane for the night. You can see the union start to form, with Shamrock choking out Bradshaw. And in this match, it's Boss Man against Mankind. Mankind was in the Union. Shamrock was in the Union. Test and the Big Show came out to help Mankind win this match. Test and Big Show were part of the Union. They were really good at planting seeds for storylines in the Attitude Era. As much shit as Vince Russo gets, when he had somebody controlling what he was doing, a lot of his stuff was really, really good. Mankind won. And then in the back, Billy Gunn attacked X-Pac because the New Age Outlaws didn't win the tag titles. So you saw the DX starting to unravel. Well, Triple H had already left to join the corporations.
Yep, and so did China.
Yep. And then they had the corporate ministry come out with Triple H and The Undertaker. And my first thought was, the Mean Street Posse looks so out of place in this group. I get that they were friends, but they had the sweater vests, and they just did not. They did not look like they belonged in that group. It would have been like if the Stooges came out with them too, just like that. But, I mean, it was a good match. It ended in chaos. And then Vince came out and knocked out Shane. And Undertaker hit Vince McMahon with a sick chair shot. Austin stunned Undertaker, and Shane got on top of Vince McMahon and just started pummeling him while he was out. And Stone Cold hit Shane McMahon with a stunner. And Austin revives Vince by pouring beer on his head. So, all in all, I thought it was really good. And the fact that they were planning on adding a new show, I think they already had Sunday Night Heat at that point. But having another primetime show was great for them with the depth of the roster that they had. And they could advance storylines quicker by having two shows. You could add more meat on the bone to a lot of the rivalries.
Definitely.
So, and this was before they did brand exclusive pay-per-views. But back in the Attitude Era, pretty much every match had a story, and there were a lot of the rivalries that ended up on the pay-per-views. Unlike today, where we're going to talk about Bad Blood, there's 5 matches. Attitude Era, there was probably 8 to 10 on most pay-per-views.
Yes. If not a little bit more.
Yeah, but before we get into that, I don't know if I showed you this.
Oh, no.
But we will be reviewing this. I saw this on eBay. This I'm assuming, since it's the High Spots network and it's got so few matches on it, I think this might have come in a loot crate at one point.
Ooh.
But it's best of death matches. Dan Barry, who I have met at CTWE shows against Bill Carr. CZW Cage of Death 20, Ricky Shane Page versus Mance Warner. A $5 death match. I have no idea what that is. Maybe they're going to staple $5 bills to each other. Who knows? Big Donnie versus James Brody, the last battle of Burke. No idea what that is. CZW World Title 4-way death match, Down with the Sickness. And Steve Corino versus the Sandman, ECW World Title Texas Death Match.
Ooh.
So we will be watching this and we will be reviewing this. This is one thing I told you, a video game surprise. We talked about it. We wanted to play it.
Yes.
So I bought it. Backyard Wrestling #2, There Goes the Neighborhood, with New Jack and Violent J on the cover. I can't wait to play this. When we do our next video game episode, we will be playing this, so I thought you'd be happy about that.
Yes.
And I found this. I did not know this DVD existed.
Ooh.
Best of the 2000s. A 3-disc set. I had no idea this was a thing. A 4-disc set, excuse me. But I mean, it's got Triple H against Cactus Jack, the first TLC match, the 3 Stages of Hell with Triple H and Stone Cold,
Ooh.
Booker T versus The Rock from SummerSlam, Hollywood Hogan versus The Rock, and it goes all the way up to Chris Jericho versus Rey Mysterio from the Bash in 2009.
Rey Mysterio?
Rey Mysterio. I like cookies.
He like cookies.
This is a really cool set. I had no idea. And they're not making DVDs anymore, which sucks. Or not these kind of compilation DVDs anyways. So, and this one's a surprise that I didn't tell you about as well. I didn't know this was still being made. So, this is one we will be watching and reviewing. I don't think you've ever seen this, to be honest. Let me get it open.
Still getting it open.
Yep. It's an unboxing before we do an actual unboxing. the original ICP Stranglemania.
Ooh.
This is when they do hilarious commentary over Japanese death matches. And they actually had to end up paying Terry Funk and Cactus Jack money because they were selling this DVD without permission and they were making money off it, but they paid those guys off. But they call Cactus Jack Cactus Sack, you know, and it's just drunk Terry Flunk instead of Terry Funk. So it's hosted by the Insane Clown Posse. I didn't know that they were still selling this because they were selling it on VHS back in the day. But there's a website called Psychopathic Vault, and I mean this is sealed. This is an official Psychopathic video. Go ahead, take a look at that. You know, so I think that's awesome. So we will. I know you've never seen it, so that is
fucking sweet.
I mean, you've watched the JCW videos, and you know what kind of commentary they do on those. So imagine the commentary they're doing on a death match.
Fuck yes.
So, another thing, I bought this today. This will be on the table for on our next episode. The classic blue steel cage set. You know, I don't play with action figures. You know, I'm not a kid anymore. But to have this displayed and to be able to put action figures in it and display it, the big blue cage is my favorite cage. I wish they would do one pay-per-view where they bring back the big blue cage. This is awesome to me.
Would you like me to bring my cage to go along next to that?
Sure, that would be cool. That would be cool.
This way we get the old school and the new school next to each other.
Yeah, I like that. Let's see. All right, so another unboxing. Well, we got to do a drum roll. The Pro Wrestling Crate, an unboxing. Now, full disclosure, I've already looked through this crate. I couldn't help myself.
I couldn't help it either.
So the first thing, Brawler Balls, Matt and Jeff Hardy, the Hardys. This kind of stuff does not interest me whatsoever, but when we do another merch table, that'll be, you know, I'll put like $2 or $3 on that. A Road Warriors inspired zombie sticker.
That is
Road Warrior animal, that's cool. This was the Masks and Paint edition, so I like that.
Yes!
If you've seen Billy Madison,
yes!
The Revolting Blob, that's really cool.
That is awesome.
I'm pretty sure that they didn't get clearance to do this, but still awesome nonetheless.
Yes.
Here, why don't you hold that one up?
This one makes me so happy because we wanted this to be a shirt.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Wrestlers. That I like that a lot. Like I said, I don't know how they get... I guess you could call that parody, but I don't know how you could call that really a parody, but, you know.
The next shirt made me happy,
This next shirt is awesome.
The Ultimate Warrior!
I really like that, you know, where it looks like it's, you know, sparks or lightning coming out of his eyes.
Yes!
That's really cool. I like that a lot. A Mustafa Ali Micro Brawler. I like this one a lot.
Yes!
Max Moon Micro Brawler. This I saw as a spoiler because they had the person do a video on it. But well, you've already seen it.
Yes.
A Danhausen Lucha Mask. I'm probably going to wear this on the next episode for at least, 30 seconds. You know,
I want to get a styrofoam head to put that on.
And then the autograph, Gangrel. I have a lot of Gangrel autographs. I've met Gangrel, so...
I actually got a WWF one autographed by him.
Right, so, I mean, that's really cool. So, I thought that was a good crate.
Fantastic crate.
Yeah, I thought it was a really good crate. I'm hoping the next one will be good, and hopefully no more socks in these crates. The comic books are getting old, too, but I haven't been disappointed with these crates very often, so I really like those.
I like when they throw in DVDs with them.
Yep. So do you want... Well, let's just do the Wrestling Classic,
You almost said crap.
Yeah. We are going to go to the Wrestling Classic Live in Massachusetts on November...
No, Experience is the Wrestling Crappix.
Yeah, it sure is. I think it's November 16th. Springfield, Massachusetts. Look up Zombie Hideout or Captain's Corner on Facebook, and you'll get, or the Wrestling Classic on Facebook, and you can get all the information. But I'm going to run down the list of people that are going to be there. Shelton Benjamin, awesome. Harvey Whippleman, JR, Deborah, Hacksaw. Oh no, wait, Hacksaw was announced that he's not going to be there, but Dijak, JBL, Jimmy Valiant, Ron Simmons, Little Guido, Jerry Lawler, Gerald Briscoe, the Tonga Kid, the Brooklyn Brawler, Rosemary, Victoria, Devon, and Scott Steiner was just announced last week. That is a stacked roster for a convention if I've ever seen one.
And that's 17.
And to me, I'm so excited to meet Gerald Briscoe.
Yes.
The Tonga Kid has been on my bucket list for a long time. I've met Scott Steiner, I've met Victoria, I've met Devon, I've met the Brooklyn Brawler, I've met Rosemary.
Brawler.
A lot of these people on this list I have met. Even Jimmy Valiant. I met Jimmy Valiant probably in 2008 or 9 when the Pro Wrestling Hall of Fame was in Amsterdam, New York. I have a Classics, a Legends figure signed by him. I think he was one of the first wrestlers I ever met. So, but I think that's a stacked list, and we can't wait to get down there. We are not doing a table this time. We are just going down to be part of the meet and greet and kind of go around, see the vendors and all that stuff. But I can't wait for that because there's so many people.
Yes.
I can't wait to meet Harvey Whippleman. I'm going to bring my 8x10 that a picture I took of Shelton Benjamin. I'm going to have him sign that, so that's going to be cool. Who are you most excited to see?
Harvey.
Yeah.
And Gerald Briscoe.
Yeah, I think Gerald Briscoe is a really good add to the whole thing. And I mean, Scott Steiner's definitely one of the headliners. But I mean, you got both Acolytes. You've got King and JR. That's pretty stacked in my opinion. So, and I don't know if they're going to, announce any more. But I'm happy with that whole list, But the next pay-per-view, or PLE as they're called now, that is going to be by the WWE is happening this Saturday as we're recording, the 5th of October. Bad Blood. I love that they're bringing back the Bad Blood name.
You know what? Next picks, to compare it with this, Bad Blood 2004.
Okay. All right.
Because it has my favorite Hell in a Cell match.
All right. And I'm going to add this, Royal Rumble 1990, because we have had a request for it for a long time from another Nick, so it will be a Nick's pick. And I apologize that we haven't done it sooner, but sometimes we're forgetful. And so Royal Rumble 90, Bad Blood 2004. But Bad Blood 2024, for the women's title, Liv Morgan against Rhea Ripley. Liv Morgan is defending with Dominic Mysterio hanging above the ring in a shark cage.
He can't go back behind bars, people!
Yeah, that's cool. I mean, I don't know how they're going to... I mean, I'm guessing at some point the Judgment Day is going to work the button to get the cage lowered so Dominic can interfere. But
something's got to be up there his sleeve.
Yeah, because he's got to have some kind of antics, He's got to be, filing the bars like he's a criminal or something, you know what I mean? Have a hacksaw, hidden in his mullet or something, You know what I mean? So, but I think that'll be good. I mean, Liv Morgan's good, Rhea Ripley's good. I'm sure that Rhea Ripley always looks good and Liv Morgan always looks good, so I think that'll be a good match. Damian Priest versus Finn Balor. I know it's a feud because the Judgment Day broke up and everything. I'm sure it'll be a good match, but I'm not invested in it as much as a lot of the other matches that are going to be on here. Nia Jax against Bayley for the women's title. No interest in this match whatsoever, and It's not because of Bayley. That's all I'm going to say.
No, it's because of Nia.
Yep. Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns against Solo Sikoa and Jacob Fatu.
Yes!
Or as Solo Sikoa we called him, or you named him.
Baby Umaga!
I'm sure that'll be good. I mean, I was talking to another buddy about this. Cody's popularity is dropping really badly. when he comes out, they're not really singing his song as much as they were before. He's not really getting the crowd reaction that he was. I know that Roman Reigns has been gone for a while, so, people think that that's why he's getting an ovation. I just think Cody Rhodes is getting stale, and Roman is not stale. I think Roman is going to be really good for the company right now, and Cody's really not doing much.
I think Cody eventually, and it'll be perfect, like you said, him turning heel with Roman being a babyface.
Yeah, because when Heyman comes back, Heyman's going to be a straight babyface because he got powerbombed through a table. Think about the promos that Heyman's going to cut with a babyface Roman Reigns.
Right.
And Roman doesn't have to be a good guy babyface. He can be Austin and just do what he always did and just still get cheered for it. Austin never changed his style. He was still a dastardly bastard, but he just was getting cheered and saying, give me a hell yeah, but he really didn't change anything.
No.
So, I think that'll be a good tag match. I really hope they give Jacob Fatu a chance to show what he can really do, because the guy is an amazing athlete. Just watch some of his MLW stuff just to see what the guy can actually do.
And he was a lot bigger.
Yeah, he was. He was a lot bigger when he was doing that stuff, too. But the main event, to me, CM Punk versus Drew McIntyre, Hell in a Cell.
Yes.
This story is the best story of the year, in my opinion. I don't care about Cody finishing the story. That was great. But this feud with CM Punk and Drew McIntyre is the feud of the year, in my opinion.
Yes. And thank God they just been drawing it out and not what they've been doing. Oh, just a couple weeks. Okay, now we're just going to drop this and do something else.
Yeah. Yeah, so I think that'll be an amazing match, and it's not going to be the red steel Hell in a Cell. It's going to be the original Hell in a Cell, which they had on Raw with Adam Pearce being in it, and they brought him out for promos, McIntyre and CM Punk out for promos. So I think that's going to be really good. But, 5 matches that, they're going to drive. Well, the PLEs have been, 2.5 hours lately, so that's good. They're going back to that. Where they're, I'm sure WrestleMania will be really long. The Rumble will probably be really long. But these smaller pay-per-views, you'll call them. Crown Jewel is next month. I don't know. Maybe that one will be, longer because it's in Saudi Arabia and Saudi Arabia is paying for that. But I don't know. So, but I'm looking forward to this mainly for CM Punk against Drew McIntyre. I'm sure I'll enjoy most of the PLE pay-per-view. I'm always going to call them pay-per-views. But we'll review that on the next episode. Maybe we'll review one of these on the next episode. Who knows? Other than that, I don't know what... I think AEW's next pay-per-view is the end of October, and we're not waiting until the end of October to record our next one. So before we go, you got anything else to add?
I do not.
That's a big surprise.
Hey!
Thanks for checking us out. Hope you liked it. Like, comment, subscribe. I think we're up to 40 subscribers, so that, we're not expecting big things for this. We just enjoy doing it. But the more subscribers we get is kind of cool. At Cheap Pop Show on Facebook and TikTok and X, Twitter, whatever you want to call it. CheapPopShow.com. cheappops.redbubble.com for
merchandising.
You love doing that so much.
Yes, I do.
So thank you very much for checking this out, and we hope you check out our next episode. Thank you very much.
Pop Guys out.